I want to mention 4 months after this, you guys are out of here. When you win the belts in July, you're gone in November, and you were working out like a 90-day notice. So you're putting in notice like just a month after winning the belts.
Yep. And if you go back, the thing about it is, Conrad, you've named all these towns and what the houses were and the dates.
Yeah.
And how many people were there.
Yeah.
How could we be 50 grand behind what we had made with Crockett at that point in the fiscal year?
Yeah.
Because the business was down.
Yeah.
So when you ask that question, there's probably two answers.
Right.
One would be, oh God, I had no idea. I'll fix that. Or, oh, well, shit happens. And we got the, oh, well, shit happens. So.
That's it. That's all there is to say.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't because business wasn't right. And, if you're the tag champions, which are not paid like a single main event.
Right.
It's split 4 ways versus 2 ways.
Right.
So you're not going to make singles money no matter where your position if you're in a tag. And we figured out 3 weeks later when we were told, okay, let me research this. I'll get back to you at the next TV taping. And it was a no-go on catching us up to where we needed to be so we could go forward the rest of the year. So we turned in our notice. That's how that happened.
The big day happens. Louisville, Kentucky, September 20th. It's a wrestling challenge taping at the Louisville Gardens. And it's written during the day, WWF tag champions Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard gave their notice that they would be leaving the company for the NWA. Of course, later on that show, you would both win a squash match against a couple of unknowns. Same thing the next night. Here's what Meltzer wrote of this. We've got plenty of news to hit this week as well. The biggest story, and the one with a lot of potential ramifications, is that Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson gave their notice to the WWF at TV tapings on Wednesday night in Louisville, and will be leaving after the Survivor Series on Thanksgiving night to return to the NWA. If nothing else, this is the first time in recent memory that the NWA has actually raided from the WWF, a mainline talent, and been successful. Truthfully, this has been a year without raids on either side, as with the exception of the WWF signing Tony Schiavone, a TV announcer. Neither side has raided for the entire year, although there have been rumors that constantly float around. I don't know that I would call this a raid, but still, you've talked about this before to me off air. This set a bad precedent. Everybody jumped to the WWF. Nobody jumped to leave, and you would be one of the first ones to go, right?
The first one.
Yeah.
Number one, that was September the 20th, which you know what that is. My birthday.
How about quitting on your birthday?
That was sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. No, it was, I'm just a firm believer. If you give me your word, stick by it, because I'll give you my word and I'll stick by it. And there's no exceptions to that where business is concerned. And we turned in our notice and all that stuff. I didn't know it was out there and well known that, because we didn't say we were going to the NWA. Actually, at that time, there was some people in Japan getting a hold of us and wanting us to. So it wasn't like it was a definitive, okay, we're leaving here from there, but that might have been the story at that particular time. But no one had put in their notice, and the contracts, in those days were, here's all you were guaranteed: 10 days at $150 a day to do television. That's it. That's all your guarantee was on that contract, which any lawyer could have beat if you're willing to take it to court. So, we were the first ones to turn in our notice, and we were being used good at the time. It kind of took everybody by surprise. But when we came out of Vince's office, that's after giving our notice and stuff, and it got out pretty quickly that we were leaving. There was about 6 or 7 guys lined up to go in and see Vince that apparently were, I can't remember who it was, but they weren't happy either because business was good. Business was good. There's no reason the money would be down, but it was. And apparently there was more people having this discussion than us. And I guess after the second or third guy knocked on Vince's door, the word we heard was he said, look, guys, you guys must think these contracts are worthless or not valid contracts. If you want to contest them, that's fine. Nobody else is getting out of their contract. So there was a stampede starting to build that he cut the water off pretty quick.
Meltzer wrote a lot about this. He says, in recent months, the salary structure within Titan Sports, at least for the middle of the card wrestlers, has been lower than in the past. And there's been speculation that they no longer have viable alternatives because they don't consider the NWA a viable alternative. Quote, I do know that most of the WWF wrestlers don't consider the NWA a viable promotion, since most of the information they were getting was that it was on its last legs. Since brainwashing propaganda of the boys has been a longtime tool of management in many promotions, probably since the beginning of time in the business. With Blanchard and Anderson leaving and claiming it was because they would make significantly more money in the NWA, all of a sudden, a lot of people who didn't consider the NWA as an alternative financially will now be taking notice as to how Vince McMahon handles this situation. Will McMahon ignore it, figuring that he's on top and is so far on top that this is nothing more than a minor inconvenience? Or will he try and take legal action and force Blanchard and Anderson to fulfill their contracts? By not doing so, it would seem to signal a green light for any Titan wrestler who wants to renege on their contract. So he could have opened up a can of worms here. I'm excited to see, what we talk about in the future with that, because we do know there is going to be some back and forth and some guys who are making jumps. But the first order of business is, let's get the belts off of Arn and Tully. And they do that on October 2nd. And it's a Superstars taping that airs on November 4th. It's in Wheeling, West Virginia, a sellout again. Demolition gets the win, and it only takes 5.5 minutes to get it done. But again, this is a different era. Because it's on a tape delay, you lose the match, so you're no longer champions, but you're still going to carry the belts for the next month. That's a little weird in hindsight, but that's just the way the business was back then, right?
Yep, that's where it was. You did what you had to for TV to catch up with you.
You did a Superstars taping where you guys picked up a win in 2 minutes and 15 seconds over David Isley and Rusty Riddle. Blanchard gets the win here with a slingshot suplex. Was it ever discussed, you guys using different style or different finishing maneuvers at all? Or just, hey, do your thing?
We already had them over. Why switch?
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.